What's up, guys? You are welcome to another episode of the Yahn Matter, where we talk about everything that is hot, new, and trending. And I'm here with my new host. What's up?
My name is Precious.
Bad guy. Extra there. Yo, my name is Benjamin. My name is Benjamin.
I know you guys remember me from episode 2, and my name is Shay.
Celeb.
And in case it hasn't been clear before, my name is Raham, aka Raham the Creative, and I'm here again to host another new episode. So let's talk. Alpha, when the Sallah meets.
Sallah meets. They on top water. Never land.
Why you now go carry Sallah meat for water? I don't understand.
Wait till they go fight. Shaking our account, you know, be tilapia where you fish.
But you're a Muslim, ba? You're a Muslim.
No.
Chineke, I can't ask her for Sallah.
Now why didn't I say they on top water?
We all know that this year's Sallah was lit. Like, no fit talk say anywhere where you dey, you no see cow or ram chop.
Yeah.
No fit talk.
I mean, I don't see chop.
It depend on where we
my behavior.
depend on where we dey. For like me, for example, location no dey. As per say, no
I mean, location no gas dey. Like, even being on the road yesterday, I saw like meat, like
branch.
different niggas just having something to kill. Like, there was.
You won't branch random sky high. It is stab you.
Of course not. Now. Like, location dey, but
Yeah.
well, let's just say.
More not talk, say people stingy.
Maybe not talk am.
But people stingy.
Allegedly.
Exactly.
So may I just talk say like at least at all meat no shall pass me by this year. Na wetin I go talk about.
As you come talk am, come be like say blessing pass person by.
Explain.
Because meat pass me by. No, I let it pass me by because they didn't invite me for meat. Like how far she will come, I'm not sure.
I wish people dey talk. Me, I know people wey dey date.
Ground.
It's on ground.
Na 95 dey on ground.
95. Let's go.
95. Like for me personally, I don't even do a 9 to 5, but like I mean there are so many instances as to why I'm against 95. But maybe you guys have something to say concerning it.
Disclaimer. I love my job. I love my boss. The greatest company I've ever worked for in my life.
Dude doesn't want to be sacked.
What? No, I don't know what you're talking about. I love you, boss. My oga. Twale.
Man, you no see salary collect.
You want to actually get into a 95. First advice I would give you is just to prepare for, as far as Lagos we're talking about now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how other places in Nigeria are, but Lagos particularly has to be ready for traffic. You know what I'm saying? You leave home in the night, you get home at night. If you understand what I'm saying? Leave home when it's dark, get home when it's dark. That kind of thing.
That one don't pass 95.
About the traffic stuff, I think that's a general thing. Everybody goes traffic. Especially during the year period.
You don't go have
Ask every single person like so bad I can speak about yes. Like if you leave your home, if you are going somewhere, there's like a 90% chance like face traffic at the time. But now moving forward, people are like go to 95. In the morning, you will say you want to start at 10 o'clock. You go on good job, you go gas wake up like around 6, 7, and traffic will come stop you. You go reach work finish. Then because why are you late? You're not supposed to be late. It's traffic. But you cannot sell it, you just accept it like.
Yeah.
But I mean the benefits at the end of the month are worth it, aren't they?
No, it's not what it at all.
It's not worth it at all.
Yeah.
It depends on the kind of job where they do.
For me, I really stop working that night to stop. Because it's really upsetting. Yeah, because when you wake up early, then you come back late. So there's some kind of thing you want to do, but you're not being able to do. And when you collect your salary, there are a lot of things that you have to give your parents. You have to give your younger ones.
May or may not need to.
You have a lot of bills to pay. Yeah, you have a lot of bills to pay.
May or may not need to.
Moving forward from aside from the salary part, I'm talking about you having other things to do, having time to have that.
Is it like a lack of time?
Basically, because you go like you said in the morning, then come back late at night. You repeat the same process from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and your boss can be like, hey, how far gas come work on Saturday? You need overtime.
Yeah, that overtime.
You barely have time for This is what I talk. I spend so many talk.
Okay. Oh no, wait.
I said that you did
let them go first now. Then I go ahead
because I feel like it's not going to be easy. And at the end of the day, like any of the months, they pay your salary. Bills don't dig ground already.
Yeah.
Money never enter, but you don't know wetin go dey left.
I swear.
Wetin go remain.
They already carry your pen and
you know
they
start
calculate.
jot.
I'm not so.
You go just calculate. Money on the rice. 100K. Sister, 50K.
This one I
mommy.
camera. Then his buy baby always come out every morning.
Just and there's that too.
Yeah.
So you have to eat now. You have to put your feeding money too.
But
your transport
I have
fare.
a question for him. I asked about his 9 to 5. I'm expecting details about the stress, the things he goes through.
The question you ask, you just want to make
I'm sure that's something that you can answer. So please, go on.
One thing you have to note about 9 to 5 is you guys are not wrong about the whole idea of you don't have time to yourself, right? So the way it works is more or less is a repeated or repetitive pattern. You wake up in the morning by 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. Leave the house by let's say 6:30, 7. Right? Go to work. You just breeze through work. I don't know if it's up for work. Sometimes it's up for there. You just breeze through. And then in the night you come back by 8, 7 or 7:38. Probably sometimes 9. If it's in Lagos you are staying. 10 p.m.
That one don't pass 9 to 5.
Wait, calm down. I like the way you say 10 p.m. 12 a.m. even. Then you know what's funny? You know I get home you say, make I watch this stream where I want.
They talk about
wait a minute.
Game. Make I play game.
Anyone we want to play game, I want to go out with the guys, I want to party something. You reach there, you sleep, bro. You wake up by 5 a.m. You can't do the same thing again from yesterday. So like it's time consuming. That's one of the most important things you need to understand.
If I even want to speak for myself personally, I don't know if I can even classify my own job as a 9 to 5 because I'm something of like a blogger, a content writer. So I write for a blog, and in case it's not really clear to some of the people, I write for the blog of like the guy who manages this show. Okay. So yeah, I don't consider my job a 9 to 5 because I do it from the comfort of my home. I can do it anytime I want, and depending on how timeless or how time oriented the object of the news writing is, that's what's going to determine how quickly I need to write on it. But either way, I'm not being pressured into my job.
It's not. Wait. I go talk. Why you go talk for me? I go talk. Wait. So it's just like saying, me. I leave the house by 6:30 a.m. Right, to be rushing to get to work. You know what's funny, right? So salary, there's this thing they call salary cut, right? So if there's this particular time you have to get to work, you get to work later than that. Salary might be, cut, right? So,
yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Really?
Okay. There was a time that I had a friend. He asked me, was not doing 9 to 5 job. He said if he's going to consider a 9 to 5 job, it has it all comes down to pay. Do you understand? If they are going to pay him at the time, this was 2021. He was saying that before he can leave the job he was doing at the time, you have to give him like 500, 400. Come go to the
$500
because naira now. Because no. Reason why I said so, the job he was doing at the time was beneficial for him.
We're going back to 2021. Are we?
So she gets. So now, if me, I don't do 9 to 5. So if I'm going to go to 9 to 5, at the same time, I'm still going to have that same practice. It all comes down to the pay. Because 9 to 5 has a lot of stress. Like he said now, I go wake up for 6, prepare, I go face traffic, go job. And I'm not even talking about the job itself, being stressful, working. Maybe you have a mean boss. Why you never submit that file? Obviously, you're not going to say in pidgin.
Once again, for context, I love my boss. He's a great man.
So stuff like that. You still get, then you leave like 5 or 6, whatever. You get your food, then face traffic again. And you're obviously it's Lagos.
But isn't the whole stress worth it if you like your job?
It's not. Who like their job? Nobody loves their job.
No. I mean, like sometimes, like when you leave university and the first thing
you should check out. I need to check out this meme. There's nobody that loves their job.
Nobody loves their job.
I wouldn't know. It doesn't matter. I wouldn't know. I've not been put into a position where I would hate my job.
That's why.
It's maybe not yet.
That's why.
Yes.
I will do something. So actors, right?
Mhm.
The act.
Yeah.
I think say they fall off. It's not because that's not what they wanted to do for the longest period of time.
Okay.
They've always wanted
Because-
to be okay. It's because, bro, at some point the thing will just hold you for here. And most people don't like human beings don't
And
really like the
sometimes-
idea of
And sometimes I think
being
like
choked.
I
So-
envy people that take their hobby as a job. They can never get tired. Just say
Depends,
for
oh,
instance,
it depends, oh.
I dey sing, I love singing. And I'm singing, making songs, and they are paying me for it.
You know, I think I
I
will agree with that. You see, that
I will
depends.
counter your point.
Yeah.
Why did they retire? Sing to you at 120. Like, let's see, if you are mad, you want to love.
Why you said
120
I support?
Yeah.
Why you
No.
actually said I support? Because so sometimes, like, especially when you're not even an independent artist, you get like when you're under a label. So you signed a contract already, yeah? There are some rules and guidelines that you definitely have to follow that they may not correlate with your own creative aspects.
Right.
You do not speak for the brand speaks for you. That is why you are under them. So there are some things that they will say on your behalf that you do not even agree with, hence why the moment the contract is even over,
But
you do not even seek to
So now,
renew.
those type of people, would you consider them 9 to 5? Like the musicians and everything? Would you consider them 9 to 5?
Musicians are not 9 to 5.
You see, let's even first of all, let's even why is even the concept of a 9 to 5? Why is even the concept of a
See,
9
let me
to
tell you
9 to 5, na
9 to 5. 9 to 5 is
Leave your house in the night,
Leave
come
your
back.
house.
You when you do 9 to 5, God, your own work don't be 9 to. You are not getting at your place now. I love my job.
9 to 5. 9 to 5.
With
9
Lagos
to 5.
traffic, we will not call it 9 to 5.
9 to 5 is like how can I put it? Like a phrase. So like a job, office job.
It's not
But other
necessarily
thing
your
that
office job.
like business 9 to 5.
It's
But
better we have the
artists-
definition out now.
Artists, actors.
Do you consider them 9 to 5?
I don't consider them 9 to 5.
It is flex, so bro.
Because you have
Although,
time.
before
You
they
can go on it.
Hey, this way they will not come for me. They
On
dey
9 to 5 job,
Men are not
you have to
carry
beg.
bill.
Enjoy fún mi láàyè, mo fẹ́ jayé.
Okay, so that right, that
But then if you don't
request for 3 weeks and
Hey,
2
no,
weeks, that's
please.
actually begging. You are begging
No,
on.
no,
I should, that's what
You're actually begging on.
Hey,
But at
no,
the same time, but at the same
they are begging
but at
for
the same
time
but
to
at the same
spend
time,
for
right?
yourself.
Musicians and them, right? They don't get it. Before they go come meet me, they ask me questions. I don't know how to take it. I don't know you.
Maybe it's until artists even come and jam it that will even know how it is for them, because I really feel like they have a lot of freedom
They don't
in their
really
job.
know.
I don't know about artists
So-
though, but even actors do. Actors, you are basically at the comfort of your house until like maybe your agent, maybe your agent or your director comes and
Oh,
I have this
actors,
new
on actors, I just thought of something.
Yeah, okay.
I think yes, they do have their own time to like flex and everything.
Yeah.
But I feel like they have a time frame when they are used like
No. So
they
I'll
have
give
to work like
So
a dog.
let me just say this.
Let's say maybe there's a movie that they need to act. Maybe and that movie during the shooting period it took like 2 to 3 months. But they don't have time.
No.
I mean, but then
No,
it's not a 9 to 5.
But
After you're just
after-
doing it for that period.
But-
Like,
That's why I was going to ask you guys.
Now imagine a celeb like a popular actor. You use 3 months on one movie, you get another hit on another movie. In a year, you might not have time.
To
I
add
feel
his
like in
point-
that situation.
to add to his
Okay,
point,
please.
so the concept of yes, they have movies back to back
Yeah.
sometimes. Most actors will take breaks when it comes to certain movies, depending on how strong-willed you are. Like, say you want to go back to back to back to back.
Exactly.
But you have to now
man.
add. You now have to now add. They are not. It's just not. Actors are not just movies, right? They are. So the way the way I think the world works is the best way the world works is
Yeah.
whoever can advertise themselves best. There's that. So for example, actors doing what do you call it? They have sponsorships, right? So you have certain meetings you have to get to. You have certain what do you call it? You have certain meetings you have to get to. You have certain ad video director has called you for ad interviews. You know,
They even make
so like that doesn't give them time to say they want to even at least chill majority of the time.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, but you know that that's even for the popular actors though. Imagine the ones that are just like up and coming. You know the thing about acting jobs that I don't really know how it is, but I think I have a pretty good concept of it. It's basically that if you don't have for this movie, you're not going to get paid. Sure you get. So if you know that if you have that kind of concept in mind, you know that it's until you apply and you get the role for that job that you're actually going to get paid. It doesn't really count as a 9 to 5.
You wouldn't even call okay. So you say like beginner actors or beginner people who act
Like basically anyone getting
I think I get what
it's basically anyone getting
as
into
long
acting.
as you work.
Exactly. You're probably going to have like an agent. You're going to have like an agent who's going to like probably push your portfolio or your roles
yes.
out to for a particular role
So
to
it's
get
not-
it.
as long
like
as
a
you
movie,
decide to
like
work.
exactly.
Yeah,
So it's basically until you even get the role, you get the parts for the this. That's even talking about cast, but crew is another thing. you are getting the role for that movie is when you start that job. And even at that, it's not necessarily a 9 to 5. It's basically when the director decides that, okay, this is the allotted time for shoots. Definitely, you're not going to shoot everything in one day.
Yeah.
Sure you get. So it already have been broken down into a series of times and period, which you would have known beforehand. Otherwise, that director is basically just using you. It probably happens. I don't know.
Make I just know. So now, as we are like this is a shoot, right?
Yeah.
This is a shoot, right?
Yeah.
How many hours did you say we did here?
Okay.
That's the actual answer. How many hours did you say we did here? So imagine you have a Nike commercial to do today.
Yeah.
Right. You know how many mistakes they have to capture for you?
Yes.
All this time. Nike commercial today. You have maybe Nike and Adidas. I don't know if you can. But Adidas commercial tomorrow.
Yeah.
You have maybe something that has to do with coffee. Purple cup. Yeah. We're starting a brand, Purple Cup, by the way. Patronize.
I mean, that also highly really depends on the people who direct and own the show. They give you their time slot, and then you have to manufacture your time. You have to create your time around their time. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a 9 to 5.
Depending on how big you are.
Depending on even for the small things. Sure you get
small actors don't. I don't think.
Small actors. It's either you get the role or you don't. If you don't get the role, you don't have to worry about working under that. Bigger actors have those things to worry about because they are in demand. Sure you get. When you grow up your business as an actor, you are automatically in demand at some point. You have a job today, you have a role to play today. Tomorrow they are calling you for another one. So you know you have to go there for that. And even at that, it depends on whether or not you want. It depends on who's speaking for you. Like that at that point, you could be the one speaking for yourself now. That would probably mean you're an independent actor, or you could be under an agency and that's the agency speaking for you. Then it will now be your agent telling you that, okay, how far you have another shot tomorrow, so you're now creating your time under that again. But definitely it depends on what you are doing. That's what really determines your 9 to 5.
I probably get his point. So it's like most of the time they have a lot more free time than they would say an actual 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Specified time from, let's say, 8 a.m. to, if you are living in Lagos, 12 midnight. 12 midnight.
Moving on that.
Exactly. So I think I get
Third mainland way.
A lot of traffic.
It's precisely of that is why you can't just say 9 to 5 is just 9 to 5. 9 to 5 is a phrase, it's a mindset, it's a concept. It's basically like you are having your ideal corporate office job. And there are some things that make it a 9 to 5 because you do not have that freedom for yourself. You can't just pull out, particularly because the 9 to 5 that you are even doing is even what is feeding you busy or otherwise. You shall know that it is that salary that is majority of what you are doing. Anything else that you are doing is by the way is beside the point. But you know that 9 to 5 is exactly what is feeding you. It's exactly what is paying your bills. Either it's your own or another person. But it's precisely why I'm not even eager to even go ahead with a 9 to 5.
But with all that said, at the end of the day, I feel like we each and every individual of us, we need to answer this question. Is 9 to 5 worth it?
For the last time, I love my job.
Oh God, your boss has already heard all this thing.
I'm going to ask her.
Okay, please.
Does she think it's worth it?
And why? Whatever the answer, and why?
I said, for me, personally, I don't know for any other body. But for me, no, because there's no pay me. So I prefer to do my own business at my own comfort of time.
So basically, I'm trying to say you don't want to work for someone.
No.
You prefer you working for yourself.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, it all comes down for someone else. It's going to be a 9 to 5 job for someone else.
Okay.
For me, it's not 9 to 5. My own job is not 9 to 5.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I have a lot of time for myself.
That one is for yourself. Because
yes,
you're the boss.
Yeah, the boss.
But someone else that's going to work for you is a 9 to 5 job too.
You know the thing you're describing is self-employment. And the thing about self-employment is that even though you are self-employed, you still technically have a boss. Let me put it like this. Imagine you own a dry cleaning business. Yeah. Imagine you own a dry cleaning business. Yeah. And you have a client. Your client tells you, oh, I want to drop this shirt off with you. And I need it created. I need it to be washed, cleaned, and basically dry cleaned by this so time. Basically you are creating your schedule around the client's
but my own
that's not a boss. That's your job.
No, wait.
It is your job, but your request is
obvious.
That is not
Your
good.
client is the main determinant of your
the
job,
prices,
though.
all of them
There's a
too.
phrase that works around what you just said.
Yeah.
The customer is always correct.
Exactly.
You know what that is. You have to conform to whatever it is that
Yes.
If you don't have a
that
client,
is-
you don't have a business. So basically, it doesn't sound right. It doesn't make sense
At the
when
end of
you
the
hear
day,
it out loud.
at the end of the day, it's my business. You
So,
understand?
yeah, you
Yes,
can
but the
say-
client is
drop
still
your-
your boss.
Wait,
No,
I have
it's not,
something,
no.
actually.
Okay, let's just. I have my business. Like for instance, now, like I said, dry cleaner.
Okay.
Okay, I let you know. I close my shop at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
You come at 4:59. You expect me to still stay because I
Now,
conform to you.
Here's what I would.
That-
Here's what I would.
that's-
So
that's
listen, if you don't understand that this man you always close at 5. What's that point of
Here's what I would like to
meeting?
bring up.
That's
You
even
understand?
that's
So
even
that one, I don't feel
Here's what I would like to bring up.
that I
Please.
So
need
if by that 4:59, him bring $1 million coming.
I go do what?
You guys are okay.
No,
Not even
honestly, I'm going to
So
bend
what
my
we're going
morals.
to is it
Same
depends
to-
on
same to
the
with
money.
other companies too.
Depends on
I'm
the
going to
money,
bend
depends on
my
the check.
plans and my morals because at the end of the day, it's money, obvious.
Right?
I'm not even trying to go out. I'm not even trying to go along with the thought of like money issue. Normal, if somebody, I'm not saying that dry cleaner may or may not see 1 million naira to collect.
Talk
Talk
am now,
am.
make
Why
like
am
fellas.
I even trying to? When dry cleaner no go jam me for
They
you
go find
too.
you.
But you know what I'm even saying is that even in your normal working hours, okay, you know the thing about self-employment is that you already have that freedom that being employed doesn't have. Shey, you like you can decide that okay, I'm going to do this. Exactly, I'm
I
either
don't
going
want
to do
to
this
oppose it. Today I don't
or
feel like
I'm
doing
not.
anything.
Yeah.
Shey, you get, but you've already allocated a certain period of service to the people that are supposed to be your clients. Okay, you can see that you're not doing a 9 to 5, but from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock my services are available for these things. You could either drop your clothes here or pick up your clothes at this particular time period. Fine. So imagine a family emergency comes up or just something that requires your time at that point, at that moment in time.
I'm
Maybe-
going to charge more because no, you are going to make me do extra.
but you
I
are
said
still
9 to
doing
5.
the job.
But they are not
but you are
my
still
boss.
doing the
Oh,
job, and particularly because you are being paid more.
I am being flexible to your needs.
Not really.
So, I made
Not
a
really.
specific
Or
rule that 9 to
she-
5.
Exactly.
Not really.
She get
You are charging more.
You
You
I'm
are
going to
charging.
charge more.
Yes, I agree with you. You are charging more.
If you charge more in a job, even if you charge more in a job, if your boss wants you to work, he will pay you overtime. So that's like that charge.
Make I gist
But
you
not
something.
in this
But let
Lagos.
me-
Hey,
But I've been
in
telling you
this
something.
Nigeria.
I've been saying you
So
be
you see
charge
what I
more
can-
or you be thief. One of the two. So that you're a thief.
No. Let's even
That's a
accept.
joke, right?
It's fine. Let's even
in
accept the
offices,
charging
they
more.
That's a
will
joke,
not, they
don't
will
be
not
thief.
pay you extra.
Charge as you want to charge.
You
but
not
still
doing
losing
that
your
extra
charge.
job. It can cost you for you losing your job.
Okay, if you
I'm
are
not
working
even
for, if
joking.
you are working
Some
for
offices.
someone,
If you're working for someone,
you-
that's what I'm saying.
But me, I'm saying you working for yourself. I'm closing 5. Or what day? Is either you wait till tomorrow morning, which will pay the actual amount, or you pay extra.
Fine.
So it's not like you are demanding because customer is right. I'm giving you my rules. You abide by it or you go somewhere.
You see, there's something I want to bring out of there.
But me, my own brand, I say 9 to 5.
Fine. You are going to charge more, no problem.
So
But you see why I even want to. Sorry,
No,
please.
it's fine.
You know why I even want to bring out of this that despite whether or not you are going to be charging more, if the client agrees to accept the extra
Why not go
charges,
pay my job? Bro?
it's fine now. It's fine. Like it's still his choice whether or not he wants to be. So
Like I-
assuming he agrees, yeah, and fine, you accept the job, so you are going to do it. You know the client is still liable to demand you do the job on time. You know, because you know I still brought the earlier scenario being that
because they believe
something.
they take more.
Exactly. So you know that's why I even brought that scenario earlier where something that requires your time that is not related to your business that you have to attend to at that moment in time, and then that's why that client decides to bring his job. You can't handle it at that point, so you have to charge more. Fine, but either way you're still accepting the job. You accepted the job and you still have to deal with that client, that you still have to deal with that emergency that is not the client's request.
Yeah.
You have to balance that along with everything that you have going on. That's the challenges of being self-employed. Sure you get. So indirectly your client is already your boss because he has a say on how you have to even control your time around the situation.
No, but you can say to yourself like if you don't want, if that thing you're going for is very important,
then you don't pick the job
Yeah,
then.
then you leave it.
That's exactly, you don't
So-
pick the job. But assuming
But
you
if
do,
you're
your
working-
client is your boss already.
No,
now.
if you're working for someone, you know you can't leave that you can't leave that your work, then go and attend to that stuff. So for me,
I feel
self-employment
like
pays me a lot.
I'm not saying self-employed is not better.
Yeah,
I'm not even trying to bring that debate or whether employed or self-employed is not better. That's not
yourself.
No, I'm saying that definitely for me.
What we've decided now is that it comes down to preference.
Exactly.
It comes down to preference. For example, I feel like you have to at least work under someone at first.
Yes, we
Find
find
it
time.
Because there's no way you'd say you want to hop into like job pool or you want to hop into like
Without having experience
experience at all.
Yes.
First off, you will see
You are going to
shege.
crash.
You will see shege.
There's a lot of shit.
Yeah, exactly. And when
Yes,
you
I
come
work
back-
9 to 5. I work for people. I work in an office. I work in a salon because I'm a stylist.
Okay.
So I know what they do. I know how to especially on island because they can stress your brain on island.
Okay.
You can work there. So I've seen a lot of bosses. I've seen
Yeah.
It all
I've
comes
seen
down to
stuff
I
like
think it
that.
definitely does.
Yeah.
So we'll be back in a bit, and when we do, we'll probably talk a lot more and shed more light on this subject.
Yeah.
Alright guys, that's our break. Alright guys, so we're back. So please, when you said that it all comes down to preference, what exactly do you mean?
Alright, so what I meant by preference is more or less there are, for example, you know, you were arguing the fact that okay, yeah, probably you could never, or at least you didn't really enjoy the factor of a 9 to 5, right? You said maybe a job you've done before or something like that. I don't know.
I mentioned that I do not endure or have to go through the strains of being in a 9 to 5 because of how comfortable my job is.
Alright, cool. So like I said before, right, I feel like at beginning stages, right, let's say you just finished school after service, at least you have to at least see how it's, because there's something they call mentors, right? You have mentors for a reason.
Yeah.
Right, those are people that have actually seen it before you and see the way to actually go from there. Just what I'm saying. It all comes down to preference. I've been doing a 9 to 5 for the longest period of time now. You understand? So I've seen every shade and every color of what you want to show me. So majority of the time, some things I see at my job now does move me to the point that I would say, I can't do this or I can't work for anybody again. Do you get my point? So you, for example, now you said you worked under someone and then from there you're like, nah, I'm not doing this again.
No, it's not actually not like that. The thing is that it's not my experience, it's another person's experience. So I'm not going to mention the...
You know, another person judge your own experience.
I mean, I was there, so it was more than enough for me. It was more than enough for me. You know, the thing is that at some point in time, I followed this guy to his workplace. I'm not going to mention the job or really the nature of it, but I'm just going to tell you what he does. He's something of like a content creator. He's a photographer, professional. But he worked under here as something of a content creator and social media manager. So basically, along the nature of what he does, I know I said I wasn't going to get into it, but just for a little bit, for the clarity of it, what he does is he takes pictures and videos of what goes on in the office, so something like along the line of BTS and stuff.
Okay.
And then other than that, he edits. He also like handles like the graphics design. He also handles like some of the socials that goes on the official like platforms on like social media handles and all that. So that's along the line of the stuff he did. And what actually happened was that at some point in time, we're very close friends. At some point in time, he invited me to escort him to his workplace to see how things go. And for the most part, his workplace is actually a really interesting place to be in. It was really, really nice, like being there and watching him on his process.
They fear night.
No. Like, I'm not going to completely bash what he does. It's actually like a really nice experience for somebody.
Okay.
If somebody is going into...
What was the experience you now saw that made you feel like... Yeah.
The experience, thank you for asking that question. You see, the experience that I saw was the interactions that took place between him and his boss. His boss is not like something of like a dictatorial or something. It's not. It's really a really nice boss. But another thing is that regardless of how nice or how wicked your boss is, there are still some things that don't correlate with who you are as a person. There are some steps and processes that they required him to take, that I know this guy personally is not something that is able, like capable of handling. Shey you get, like you know when you are hired to do something and then you are asked to do something that is even outside your this thing, and sometimes like you get what I'm saying, sha. I know sometimes that there are some of these things that your boss will even ask you that is even outside your career, outside your pay grade, that even comes across to a certain extent as even demeaning.
How far I get person wey I wan make you keep from me, shey you go do am, and your work is just to be typing.
But if you think about it, you dey do dry cleaner, they say make you keep person. You know that I'm not dry cleaner job anymore.
The dry cleaning,
You know you are clean.
dry cleaning will even,
You are clean the person wey get.
dry cleaning will even come along the line of service. Like I'm talking about like even in an employee. Okay, let me even go away from that story because I don't want to deep am. Shey you get. Like imagine you as an employee now.
Right.
You know that your job is at all. I'm doing photography, I'm doing content creating, I'm doing this.
Now another thing I wanted to ask, would you consider those guys 9 to 5?
Those guys,
It's the same thing as
it
actors,
depends.
the same thing as actors and musicians that we just mentioned, right?
Yes.
Those photography guys they're talking about. Now if job come,
Exactly. No. That one still depends. That one still depends. You fit dey work for media company, media one go now 9 to 5 go.
at a media company.
Yes.
Wait, so hold on. So now I'm going to tell you this. In a company, there's structure.
Yes.
For example, the media company you're talking about, they are content writers. Like you
Yes.
said. There are videographers.
Yes.
You understand? There are what do you call it?
Photographers, content
Editors,
creators,
writers.
yes.
It's split into different factions.
Fine.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So because you work in the media house doesn't now mean, oh, there are certain people. For example, the photographer, for example, now, if something not there where you photograph, what is he doing?
First,
They capture air.
What is he doing?
first, I agree with what you are saying. I agree.
That's why most of the time
Yeah.
photographers are usually freelancers. I feel that they do best when they are freelancers.
I agree with the fact that you say that it depends on the structure that you meet in the company.
Right.
But particularly because of what you said, is why I will still say that structure is still definitely there. And for a media company now, to use that example, for a media company or a modeling agency or any job whatsoever that has such a rigid structure, whereas the photographer would have to engage in a 9 to 5 setting. Of course, it doesn't necessarily also mean that you have to just photograph, like take pictures all the time. It's still other things that comes along with it, like editing.
I have a question.
Oh, what's your photographer that doesn't edit?
Wait.
What if?
Wait. I have a question.
Yeah.
And you come from one thing. Working on that song is 9 to 5, but
Working under the sun.
Working under someone is a 9 to 5.
Working under someone.
even though you own your business, but the person that owns the company, is he also working 9 to 5?
Somebody that's
Person, the owner of the company.
the owner of the
Business
company.
is also working 9 to 5.
It depends. You have people that are put in place as CEOs or acting
That's what I'm
CEOs
saying.
or assistant CEOs of a company, whereas they are not even the
Person that
owners.
owns
For me, the person that owns
like
the
your
company,
grandfather
yes,
is he working 9 to 5?
is not.
It depends on whether or not it's answerable to someone.
To me, one man
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm asking.
driving
Would you consider it 9 to 5, or would you just consider it this business? I'm just going to.
You know, like I've said
I can do
earlier.
business at my
Yeah.
own. You know, I can do it at my own leisure.
Yes.
You know,
you
like I said earlier.
but people that you employ are the ones that are working at
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
That's what I'm
See,
trying to say.
there's something I said earlier. I said that 9 to 5 is not just 9 to 5. It's a concept. I say because something is a concept, it means that it has a wide variation of what people understand by it. 9 to 5 doesn't necessarily mean you're leaving the house by 9, you're coming back by 5. It means that there are some certain things that you go, that you are under, that makes your job a 9 to 5 setting. One of those things being in this scenario that you guys just painted now is the fact that the person in question is answerable under someone. So again, he answers to a particular person. Maybe his employers, it may be his superiors, whatever way it may be. It only means that whatever his superiors in this scenario say, it is what is going to determine his
The question he asked
He still
the person that is hiring all those people,
the supervisor, your grandfather,
that is hiring all those people that
work
you're
9
talking
to
about,
5.
would you consider him a 9 to 5?
Because
it
if I decide I don't want to do anything,
it could be.
So
A CEO,
they are
a
still the
CEO.
same. You own your business.
Okay.
How am I doing? You still gather a day.
Yes.
And even though say they work for a company, but na me get down. So now the other
So you
people
can,
that
you can
they are the
take
ones.
break. You can take break anytime.
Exactly. Because the answer
Hold
to
on.
me is what I see. Let's say for instance now, I be manager of food. People they
Yeah.
vivid imagination.
Hold on.
Imagination. So like
You even call Ford. You don't say Alibaba or something.
Ford.
So let's say
Ford is
Okay, no,
gone.
Alibaba is crazy too.
so let's just say I'm like the boss of Gapapata, and I just decided to be like, Omo, I want you guys to create
Ford.
the car that can fly.
Okay.
And that's just like all I just have to see.
This guy is great.
So people that want that, those are people that have struggled for it. That's their
Yes.
9 to 5.
Yeah.
I see what you are saying now.
So is that boss? Is
You
it like
see-
you see the same thing? I'm
you
just
see-
alone.
You see, the thing is that maybe that's
'Cause
why 9 to 5 we even get such a bad rep at the same
No,
time,
but I'll
because
tell you,
you know a lot of people don't even understand where the bosses come from, why the boss is even pressuring you to begin with. And you see, the thing is that if you are a CEO of your own company,
Do you know you
whether
guys
or not
you guys keep going in circles, and it's funny. So you see, there was a thing you brought up about,
Okay.
customer always right? There's a demographic as to which a company works by. Doesn't matter what you are doing, dry cleaning, finance, a bank, fraud.
I just said fraud.
I ain't talk fraud.
I don't
Like, they
fraud.
don't catch
I said
anybody.
fraud.
They don't catch everybody. So like,
Leave my alpha actor
the
alone.
demographic you work with,
Okay.
right? So let's say you are a CEO. There's something requested of you as well to meet up with for your company to even stay up.
that was even where I was supposed. That was where I was going.
Right? So, but you guys kept.
That's why I was
he
going.
kept going.
You see,
this
that's
way,
what
he kept
that's
going
the point
other
I
way.
was trying to
And
get
they go and say, I just they want to.
That's the point I was trying to get to. You see that CEO that we're talking about, whether or not you own the company, like it is your name on the banner, or is that somebody puts you in charge, like in the CEO position to manage the company. The thing is that you are still answerable to someone. It could be the shareholders, maybe it could be like a private.
Depending on how you started.
It depends on how you started it, exactly. So you could be answerable to the shareholders. You could be answerable to the clientele. That is even the number one people I even ask, because if you don't have the same thing I said earlier, if you do not have a client base, you do not have a business.
Basically,
That's the thing.
boss means I
So
still have responsibilities as people are.
precisely
But
what I'm
it's still 9
saying.
to 5.
No. So that I won't
No,
consider that.
you see, that's why it depends on the preference. It depends on the freedom you even have as the
I will not still consider.
Wait,
It doesn't matter.
If you are the
That kind
top,
of so doesn't-
if you are
It
the
doesn't matter
top,
what that. See,
It doesn't
I'm
come
telling
to
you.
preference.
But no, now it depends on how big you want to compete. For example, if you look at all these big guys, right? Elon Musk, you see me, and they advertise me, just give me some props.
Wait, give it to me.
Just give me 2 Bitcoin. See, look at Elon Musk, for example, right? There's the structures to which he works.
Yeah.
You wouldn't just say, okay, Elon is taking a break. If you take break, company feel disrupt. You know what I'm saying? Company if you just
Go feel out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we all know Elon
There's
Musk.
a-
There's
What I usually think of CEOs as are masterminds. They are the people behind how the structure is placed.
Not really.
You don't
They are the brain.
I do
No,
not-
they are the brain and they are supporters.
Bro,
It's not that no real.
It's
They are
more or
the
less
brain,
like they are the
supporters.
connector. So I know somebody that is good at something. I hire that person in one department. I know another person is good at another thing. Hire that person in this department.
But
Yeah,
and
they are
you
working
guys work
under
for
me,
my
bro.
idea.
See,
You guys are working for my idea.
If I don't don't give this person a directive,
I definitely
and they don't follow that directive, and they do something on their own mind, and the company does somehow that
Be like say your 9 to 5 will cut.
I definitely agree with what you are saying. But you see, the thing is that the way you put it, you make it sound like CEO is the person, which it seems that way, yes. But the CEO is also a position, like every other structure in the company.
No.
That is why the CEO is not necessarily the owner of the company. Shey you get? Somebody can found a company
He's saying-
and then
he's
step back
saying
and then
owner-
put somebody in
owner
that
and
position
CEO
to
is
manage.
different.
right.
So you're trying to
So
tell me that
now let's
owner
not go back
can't
to
have a
his, let's go
say.
back to his own question now. Would you consider the owner a 9 to 5?
Oh,
It depends on the processes that happens as a CEO.
You are still not answering the question directly. Do you
A
consider
CEO, yes, a CEO
Forget the
position is a
CEO.
9 to 5.
The owner, the CEO said, fine, the CEO is a 9 to 5. You consider the owner. It's the owner that we're looking at, the person that owns the company. Would you
No.
consider that a 9 to 5?
No.
What do you
Because okay, please, what do you think actually? What do you think?
I said before, I said the CEO, like the main owner.
okay. Let's not go to a picture of a big something. Let us start
Just
with-
small skills.
so that it will be easier for people to understand. Like,
How big or small? For me,
okay.
the CEO is not working 9 to 5.
I agree. The CEO is not working 9 to 5.
Because we have people that is
You're
working.
saying CEO is working 9 to 5.
No.
What are you saying?
I agree that look, the owner is not working the 9 to 5. because I said the CEO is a position, the CEO is basically the in guy in the company, in charge of the company, actively managing the company. So he's the one doing the 9 to 5. Of course, it's not
that means he's
definitely
still working under someone.
But you
It's
said-
not the other
no.
Somebody
He's not
said
working
something
under
like
someone.
that.
Working under someone is different from being answerable
Did
to
you
somebody.
okay? Do you agree that the owner is not working 9 to 5?
The owner may not be the CEO. though.
No.
Yeah, we agree.
We agree. Okay, do you agree that the owner is not working 9 to 5?
I agree with that. Yes.
Now the CEO is working 9 to 5. Yes or no?
Yes, I agree with that.
That means it's not the Oga Pata. Now
He's asking you about the okay.
Okay, the Oga Pata may not be the CEO.
He's not here, but it doesn't mean that is he working the 9 to 5?
Alright. So guys, we're going to take a quick.
Ah, nice one.
Nah, lie. I don't agree. Yes, answer.
So okay, maybe we should also.
Okay, take a break.
No,
Let's take a break.
May breathe.
Let him breathe.
What a holy neck.
Alright, so we're not taking a break then.
It's done
So
there.
maybe we should just leave this
There
conversation
will
because
be a
we've really
part
gotten into it. Let's just leave this conversation for
The comment section.
for the comment section. What do you guys think? Give us your thoughts.
Yeah.
Like just engage and let us.
There will be a part 2 and I will be back.
And please like, share,
Share
and
and
subscribe.
subscribe. Definitely.
Subscribe.
Once again, I love my job.
So what I was basically trying to say here is like this is our conclusion. This is the end of our
For those in,
episode.
okay, so it just means for those in Lagos, don't do 9 to 5. Those in Abuja, flex, do 9 to 5. You can come back early and go.
I love my job.
I love my job.
And for our Nigerian viewers in general, thank you guys so much for watching. We would have wanted to talk more on it, but unfortunately we've come to our end. So please feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
I love my boss.
I love my boss, man.
Happy Ramadan, guys.
Happy Ramadan.
Ramadan.